to Dirty Secrets of Small Business. I'm Adam Sonhalter.
And I'm Jack Mancini with Maximum Value Partners. We're business coaches, and we can help you get unstuck from all those how questions in your business. We know you got them. Give us a call, participate in the program, we can have some fun. Today we're talking about how do you buy a friggin' company? How do you do that?
How do you buy it right, Jack? Don't forget that part of it.
Yeah. I guess that's pretty important, isn't it, Adam?
All right, if you want to get us here in the studio, we're here live every Monday from noon to 1 Eastern. The number here is 440-946-9468. Again, 440-946-WINT. And before we came to break, we were talking about how do you go find a company first. So I wanted to start there. We started getting into the negotiations and valuing a little bit. But I want to talk about where do you find a company. So you personally bought and fixed up 5 companies, Jack. Where'd you go find those things?
Boy, all over the place, Adam. The very first place to start, still today, is the business opportunities of the local newspaper. Absolutely.
Newspapers.
Oops, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, they still have some of those. You're right. Okay, even online.
Whoever bought those newspapers out have a business ops section. Business opportunity. The biggest challenge, the first challenge, is finding the business opportunity section.
And for those of you who are more modern, it's kind of like the old version of Craigslist, right? That's what it looks like, the old classified section.
That's right.
So, Chancellor, looking through the classified section, that's a good. Yeah, because it took me. I remember when we first went through this probably 12 years ago. It took me. That was my first test. So see if you could find the biz ops section, right? I'm like, where the heck is the place, right? I'm looking through it, and there it was in the back of the classified section.
They're there in modern version today, and every week there's new ones added, and the old ones taken off. There's just a regular stream of them, and you don't start with a fancy list of here are 15 points that I want for my business. You just start and pick and get engaged. Start meeting small business owners who are trying to sell their business.
So
it's exciting.
Start with the Sunday, the Sunday version of it. Usually that's the biggest one as far as the week goes. So pick up Sunday, your local newspaper, anything within whether it be 30 minutes. So you have a big, find a couple papers and buy them and take a look through that.
Make it a point to circle or identify several, at least 4 or 5, and make it a point that following week to call up every one of those, even if it doesn't seem like something you want. You don't want a bar or restaurant, but that's all that's listed that week. Or you don't want the sound of this company, but that's all that listed. Call and ask about it. Adam said earlier, what if they gave you a company? Would you take it? What if somebody, as you called them up and you went out and visited them, and it's a bar and restaurant, and you hate bars and restaurants, but what if in discussing the purchase of this company, the guy said, I got to get out of here so fast, I'm going to give you this place. All I need is X bucks, few $100, few $1,000, and it's yours. That's what happens. That's what happens often, and we're not kidding about that. That's what happened. That's how I bought the first company I had.
Right, through business opportunities, that's one place to go. Let's keep on task here for a second. So where else would you go to find them? So you had 4 other ones that you found too. So the first one was through the biz ops section. Where else did you find companies?
Well, through that, I was able to buy the company through the IRS that was foreclosing on this company.
Okay, so the IRS is another place to go.
That's right.
So they're going to foreclose for folks who aren't paying their taxes, most likely.
That's correct, and it gets carried far enough away, and the company was in trouble enough where you could buy it almost for nothing. That's a great story, but we won't.
So I'll say just as a quick aside here. So one of the pushbacks we often get from folks, and is Jack was alluding to this. Circling companies and placing phone calls to companies, right? And it's like, okay, what do I say to them? So I'm going to skip right over that. And if you want to call your local IRS office, because of course that's a phone call everybody wants to make, right? You want to call the IRS and let them know that you're out there. But call them in and ask them about companies that they might have that are delayed on tax payments. Maybe they're scheduled to kind of close them down.
That are moving to close down and be auctioned off, or just close down and
see if
liquidate.
You can find that. See if you can find that person who's in that department there. Because chances are they're not going to be listed on some website. You got to place a few phone calls and dig around a little bit and see if you can find that person.
I'll bet today that's a tough find, but you can find. You got to be persistent, and there's lots of them. Now, another place in the same kind of concept, there are banks. There is a dirty little secret, and that's one of the things we like to talk about from time to time. But banks make bad loans. Did you know that, Adam?
I know. I've heard bankers say, Jack, that they've never made a bad loan.
That's what I've heard too.
But the companies go bad. The loans go bad. It wasn't a bad loan when it started.
The loan.
That's what they say. That's their caveat. I've never made a bad loan, but sometimes loans go bad.
So what happens if you go in there and you get a $200,000 loan for your company, and all of a sudden things don't go right, and you can't pay back the 200,000? You got other cash issues, and your company's in trouble.
You know what happens, Jack? You get a call from Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
Because you get the workout group calling you up.
That's right.
They're calling you up, so let's go work out. Wait. Well, I don't want to work out. Well, no, we're going to work out your trouble.
Those departments in a bank have more names, and they're also just like the IRS. They're often hard to find. So if you go into a banker friend of yours and say, "Hey, could you introduce me to the troubled loan department?"
To Richard Simmons. That's
they don't have troubled loans. But again, they do have troubled loans. And if you are a legitimate player, meaning you have credit worthiness yourself, you have decent enough business experience, you have a contact or two in the bank, all of a sudden you can be looking at opportunities within that bank to be introduced to, we're talking troubled companies right now, but companies that are having operating issues, and usually those can be bought low. Also, right is the question, that always applies, but they can usually be bought low, and often without guarantees. They can be some very, very nice opportunities there.
Okay, so biz ops section, IRS, and the workout departments of banks.
That's right.
So a modern version of the biz ops section would probably be something like a bizbuysell.com.
They seem to be one of the best.
Yeah, if you go online, whether you use Google or whatever else you use, kind of search for buying companies, chances are you'll get a listing of different websites that are there. As I mentioned earlier, the classified sections are the Craigslist. Well, Craigslist will actually have things on there for sale, or eBay. There's enough things online to kind of look around that they'll have different listings like that, as far as ways to kind of go check out and try to find opportunities that are out there.
So here you want to buy a company, Adam, and here are 3 or 4 areas that you can find them. So what's holding you back right now?
Let me give you one more, and then we move on,
All
which
right.
is brokers, business brokers. Okay, back in my days in New York, my days in New York, we used to be called investment bankers, and some of the more high-end guys would call themselves that. If you call them a broker, they get all mad at you. But again, a broker is just like a real estate broker. In fact, that's where most of them came from. They used to, they started selling commercial real estate, and they evolved. And hey, I got a company here too, and they started to sell companies too.
Seen it many times. Right?
So if you look for like a local business broker association, we're here in the Cleveland area, and we've got one called the Ohio Business Broker Association, the OBBA. But if, no matter where you are in the country, chances are you probably have a business broker association as part of the state or part of your locality. And you can find, to Jack's point, there are probably dozens or hundreds of folks that are part of that, and chances are there's probably a handful that are pretty good. And so the pretty good folks are ones that are going to actually have a package pulled together.
Package? Oops, wait a minute now. What kind of package are you talking about?
Yeah, much like when you go in to buy a house with somebody, they're going to pull together a little package talking about the market, what's going on with the property itself. Same thing's true for a company. They're going to tell you about the history of the company and the numbers that are there and the story and why things are being sold. They're going to do a little bit of stuff.
A good broker will have that. A lot of them aren't good, and they don't even know what you're asking for when you say, hey, you got a package.
That's right. They're going to say, they're asking X for the company. Well, why do they want that? Well, that's what they asked for. So I kind of threw it up there, and they have that MLS kind of mindset to it. So those are the 5 places, I guess, to kind of go. So the biz ops section, the IRS, the banks, what was the 4th one I said? I forgot the 4th one was. Oh, like biz, buy, sell, those kind of things, kind of Google that stuff, and then go into local business brokers. So those are 5 areas that are good to kind of go. And I guarantee you, if you spend some time there, you're going to have dozens, if not hundreds, of opportunities that are going to be there to start to kind of look at these kind of things. So
easy. That's just how you start.
So let's start there, and then when we come back, Jack, we can talk about a little bit more about how do you start to then kind of engage with these folks and kind of get out there before to actually start getting those opportunities to go from being something, whether it be online or on a piece of paper, to becoming a real live opportunity. So stay tuned for that.